Let's go live to Brisbane. Here's the Treasurer speaking on today's numbers when it comes to wages.
I have a very respectful view of Phil Lowe. Now, when it comes to a couple of the issues of substance that he raised, for example, spending as a share of the economy has come down from almost a third of the economy when he was the governor now to closer to a quarter of the economy. We've got real spending growth down from averaging 4.1 to averaging 1.7. We've delivered 2 surpluses. We're saving most of the upward revisions to revenue. We found $114 billion in savings, including $20 billion just in December. And so we've been managing the budget in a much more responsible way than our predecessors. We've made good progress on the budget, but we know that there's more work to do. And similarly on productivity, we have a very big, bold, broad, ambitious agenda on productivity that we've been rolling out. FIRB reform, competition reform, environmental approvals reform, payments reform, establishing Jobs and Skills Australia. There are a whole range of things that we've been doing on the productivity front, but once again, we know that more will be necessary to turn around a couple of decades of poor productivity performance in our economy. The last few quarters, we've seen productivity in our economy tick up, but we're not getting carried away with that. We know that this is a long-standing entrenched challenge in our economy, and that's why it's a central focus of our economic plan. So a couple of the issues that Phil has raised, the government is making progress on, but making progress at the same time as we acknowledge there's more to be done.
Anthony Albanese has been scathing of Lowe, pointing out he's the former RBA governor. He said there are people who are exes who get their name in the paper. Do you agree with that characterisation?
Well, he's the former Reserve Bank governor and he's got his name in the paper today, and so I don't have any issue with what the Prime Minister said. I think I've answered your question in a pretty substantial way. You know, I respect Phil Lowe. He's become a bit of a critic of the government since he wasn't reappointed to that role. I wish him well, genuinely. And on the substance of the issues that he's raised, I've answered that in detail.
When do you expect more wages?
What about showing up late and then jumping the queue? Did you notice that? Can you repeat the question, please?
When do you expect real wages to turn positive again?
Well, I think it's clear from the Reserve Bank's forecasts that the inflation number will be higher than we'd like for a little while now this year. They've got inflation peaking around the middle of the year and then coming down after that, and that'll have implications for real wages. The important thing to remember about the inflation forecasts, and we'll update ours in the usual way in the May budget, but they will be impacted in the coming months by some temporary factors, including the unwinding of the Commonwealth's energy bill rebates, and so there'll be some factors pushing that number up in the near term. That's clear from the Reserve Bank forecasts, and we're in the process, or Treasury's in the process of finalising their forecasts for the May budget. But what we've seen in these numbers today is wages growth which is north of 3%. You know, that's a good, strong and sustainable number, but with inflation higher than we'd like, obviously that has implications for real wages for the time being. Well, first of all, that $90 billion number didn't come from the government. It's a separate calculation. And as I understand it, I haven't gone through it in any detail, but as I understand it, it reflects the biggest version of the project in over several decades, but it's not the government's number. We've provided, I think, around $500 million in the budget since the 22 election, since we came to office. And that's because we think that this kind of infrastructure has the potential to be a game changer. And so we've made that money available in the budget, about $500 million, not $90 billion. And we'll have more to say about it in the coming weeks.
You talk a lot about intergenerational inequity. Do you see the capital gains tax discount as part of the problem? And when can we expect any announcements around the CGT?
Well, we haven't changed our policy on tax or on CGT. Our tax policy is all about cutting income taxes for 14 million Australian taxpayers this year and next year. The tax cuts that Angus Taylor and Tim Wilson opposed at the last election. And so that's our focus when it comes to tax. Now, I've been upfront and said that I do acknowledge and do understand and do agree that there are intergenerational issues in our economy and in our society. but we've found other ways to address those issues in the housing sector by building more homes and making it easier to save a deposit, and in the tax system by cutting income taxes and boosting the low-income super tax offset. And making superannuation tax concessions fairer so that the super system is fairer from top to bottom. So we have found other ways to address the, I think, obvious intergenerational issues in our economy and in our society. We've already got a tax policy, we've already got a housing policy, and any steps beyond that would be a matter for Cabinet in the usual way.
Why is public service wage growth higher than public sector wage growth higher than private sector?
Well, in the December quarter, public sector wage growth was the same as private sector wage growth, 0.8%. And over the life of our government, private sector wage growth has outstripped public sector wage growth. If you look at the cumulative number, I think in aggregate, I think 13.4% wage growth under us, 13.5 private, 13.1 public, I think, from memory. So overwhelmingly, the story of our time in office has been real wages growth and the private sector outstripping the public sector when it comes to wages growth. This data today has 0.8 for both public and private in the December quarter.
Treasurer, will the federal government back Chris Foley's pitch to drive up investment into Queensland critical minerals projects?
Well, we don't need David Crisafulli to be enthusiastic about Queensland mining and about critical minerals in Australia. I mean, we have a critical minerals strategy. We've got new policies that we've been rolling out over the course of the last 3.5 years. We don't need Dave to tell us that critical minerals are important or that Queensland is the hope of the side when it comes to the national economy. These are things I've believed all of my time as Treasurer, and more than believed that. We've put policies in to back that up, and a lot of the engagement I do with my international counterparts and colleagues too is about maximising the unbelievable potential of critical minerals and the resources sector more broadly, and obviously Queensland is front and centre. When you've got a Treasurer from Queensland who understands this state and its economy, obviously Queensland industry is always front and centre when we think about policy for the national economy.
Well, today he did just make a $300 million pitch for some funding from the Australian-American framework, critical minerals framework.
Right.
Do you think that he will be in good stead to receive some of that funding?
Oh, look, I haven't seen that. I didn't tune in to watch the Premier's appearance. I'll obviously take a look at what he said. But our intention when it comes to that partnership, our intention when it comes to all of the different ways that we're supporting the critical minerals sector is to maximise this golden opportunity for Queensland and for Australia. And we engage with governments of both political persuasions in good faith to try and make the most of the big economic opportunities we've got in this country. And it's another really important reminder that even though we've got big challenges in our economy around inflation and productivity and global uncertainty, we've got huge advantages as well, and critical minerals is just one of them. But around the world, people are looking at Australia as a destination for investment. That's a very, very good thing. And it's a central part of how we think about boosting productivity in our economy as well. Okay, thanks very much.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers there at Logan in Queensland on today's wages.